Hello class, myself Dr. Ashwini Kartole. I'm assistant professor in community medicine department. Today we will discuss coronavirus update. This is very burning topic, and this is we are all are suffering from this whatever issues is going on in all over country or all over world. We will discuss some point of that and some guidelines, some definitions we will clear so that the basic things you will get to know from this topic. Coronavirus is not a new thing, but in 2019, novel coronavirus detected. Novel means new. Why it is new? Because in virus many genetic activities are going on. In that, genetic shift and drift, genetic composition, material change in between. Because of that, new combination and new viruses develop and form immunity and spread infections. Likewise, COVID-19 is a new virus having new genetic material in that, and normal human beings don't have immunity against that, so that this can cause very pandemic effect or give infection to all animals as well as human beings. On a very short form, this is a virus having a protein and fat layer around it. Its protein is like spikes, so that it looks like crown, so that its name is corona. And whatever genetic material is present, it is inside. Around that, fatty layer is there and protein layer is there, so that if we use soap or foam, this fatty layer dissolve in that and this virus get killed. So that we are using lots of soap and we are practicing hand washing because of that. And it mostly cause respiratory disease like pneumonia or flu-like symptoms, and variety of viruses are there, coronaviruses are there. More specifically, SARS-CoV virus, middle respiratory syndrome like Saudi Arabia in 2012. This virus is found. It was also new, and in 2019, COVID-19 means coronavirus 19 strain we have found. It affect all over the world, and it started from China. Now it is affecting all over the world. Brief about structure and type. Coronavirus are named for the crown-like spikes on their surface. The main subgrouping of coronavirus are known as alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. Mostly and newer strains are also coming, like S type, L type strain. L type or S type are more virulent kind of strains. All over India and all over the world, many strains are we are getting because of variety of shift and drift are occurring in this virus, that is also in very fast form. So, but basically alpha, beta, gamma, delta are the basic subgrouping of this coronavirus. Human coronavirus first identified in 1960. The 7 coronavirus that can infect people or human being are 229E alpha coronavirus, NL63 alpha coronavirus, OC43 beta coronavirus, HKU1 beta coronavirus, MERS coronavirus, beta coronavirus, that is one form of beta coronavirus, SARS coronavirus, that is also form of beta coronavirus, and in 2019 novel coronavirus, that is COVID-19. Middle East respiratory syndrome, that is because of beta coronavirus, and severe acute respiratory syndrome, that is also from beta coronavirus. So beta coronavirus is some form of virus that is more toxic and more virulent virus. Now, what are the signs and symptoms of coronavirus? That we all know, lots of telecasts, lots of information is going on WhatsApp, in mass media, in YouTube, in televisions also, and through advertisement, that it is a basic flu-like symptoms like coughing, fever, shortness of breath, vomiting, diarrhea. If you are having fever more than 100 degree Fahrenheit or higher grade fever, and after fever it developed 2 to 7 days, it developed dry cough, shortness of breath, or breathing difficulties, and in some severe form of infection it caused pneumonia like symptom, very severe pneumonia like symptom, kidney failure and death also. Means and more virulent virus, more number of deaths will be there. So we have to be very particular and this about this virus, because it's a completely new strain for human beings. And how it transfers through droplet infection during coughing, sneezing from infected person, or touching the contaminated object of infected person can easily spread the disease from one person to another person. And this virus is very virulent and very contagious, so we have to be very careful about the social distancing and personal distancing. If we are going to maintain that, there is less chance of infection, coronavirus infection. But you are not at all taking care of social distancing, then it is very dangerous. I mean, it is very contagious. It can transfer from one person to another person through this body fluids also. So all these are the sign and symptoms for coronavirus. Now, what is the case definition for surveillance for coronavirus or COVID-19? First of all, suspected cases. Suspected cases means those are not confirmed cases, probable cases for coronavirus. In that, a patient with severe acute respiratory infection like fever, cough, or requiring admission to the hospital, and no other etiology, and at least one of the following which are we are going to discuss, that is travel history in any other infected countries prior to in the 14 days prior to the onset of symptoms, or patient in healthcare worker who has been working in the environment where severe acute respiratory infection of unknown origin are being cared of. That is means those patients who are who are coming from the other countries in India or in your area, or those are healthcare workers who are serving their services in the hospital for the pneumonia or respiratory infection of unknown origin. Patients are there. They are the basically suspected cases, but they are not confirmed cases. Those patients are showing fever, fever, coughing, or any other flu-like symptoms. Those are the suspected cases, but not confirmed cases. That is to be taken care. Secondly, on suspected cases, patient with any acute respiratory illness and at least one of the following, that is close contact with confirmed or probable cases of COVID-19 in the 14 days prior to the illness, or visiting or working in live animal market in any Chinese or any other country in 14 days prior to the symptoms onset, and work or attending healthcare facilities in 14 days prior to the onset of symptom where patient with hospital associated with COVID-19 infection has been reported. So these are the second guideline for the suspected cases. Those workers are working in the hospitals where isolation wards are there, where confirmed cases are there, and those patients are showing some sign and symptoms of confirmed COVID-19 cases, and those patients are working in animal market. But now I think so nowadays all animal markets are closed or shut down. in China or other countries. In India, it is not yet to be happening. All these are the suspected cases. Now, probable cases. A suspect case from whom testing of COVID-19 is inclusion, or from whom testing was positive on the pan-corona assay. This is a probable case, means where testing from the COVID-19 is inclusive, or whom testing was positive on pan-corona assay. These are the probable cases. Now, who are the confirmed cases? Confirmed cases are person with lab confirmation of COVID-19 infection irrespective of clinical sign and symptoms. Now, we can see that there are so many patients or so many cases, those are not showing any kind of sign and symptoms, but on testing, on rapid kit testing, they are positive. Means it is depend on person to person, their immunity, their lifestyle, their exposure, their transmission, what kind of sign and symptoms they are showing. It is not like that ki if person is not showing any kind of sign and symptoms and he is a traveler, or he is exposed to other patient, or he exposed to positive cases, and he is not showing any sign symptom, that doesn't mean he is not having that infection in a 14 days quarantine period. It can be happen that infection is in incubation period, but if we are doing lab diagnosis and it comes positive, that means it's a sure shot confirmed case. Now, how it spread? We all know the history of coronavirus, from where it spread, where it started. It's just a quick recap of that, how it spread all over the world. It started in December 2019, 8 December 2019, where early reported onset of symptoms were there in China. I'm talking about China, Wuhan, China. There some some reported cases from flu-like symptom or pneumonia-like symptoms of patients. In December 31st, 2019, in China, the official investigation started that 27 cases of pneumonia of unknown origin was recognized. They have found that some unknown organism or unknown virus is there, which is not known to us, and that is spreading all the infection to the community, and 27 confirmed cases for that they have. In January 1st January 2020, the human seafood wholesale market and known to be source of virus officially closed there in China, in Wuhan. There was some history also from bats or from animal products. Some diseases are spread in China, so they immediately close all the human seafood wholesale market in their places, because they are having huge market of that meat products. So immediately they close that. In 9 January 2020, the first death reported in China, in Wuhan, because of this unknown cases of unknown pneumonia-like symptom. And in 10th Jan, the authority identified the virus as is coronavirus. They rename or define it as this is the coronavirus, or new strain of coronavirus, which is going which is infecting all the humans in Wuhan or in that area, and number of cases are going to increase rapidly in that area. And this is January 23rd January 2020 report from the Wuhan. And then in 13 January 2020, first abroad cases or outside the China case is reported, that is in Thailand. And now that whatever cases of pneumonia of unknown origin was present in the China, they get spread from Wuhan to other places in China, and from China to all over the world. It started in December 2019, and still we are fighting against that. Means that it is a huge pandemic means it one disease that affect more than 2 countries or more than 2 continents. So how it started, this is how all this started, and cases, cumulative cases that multiplies like doubling, tripling, or suddenly they are having thousands of lakhs of patient. In that actual number of patient we don't know, but suddenly rapid increase of cases was there. Then in 27 January 2020, so many other countries affected with this coronavirus like China, Thailand, Hong Kong, Macau, Australia, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, France, South Korea, Taiwan, US, Vietnam, Nepal, and now India also. And this is for January's report. So less number of patients were there initially, but that is of unknown origin, and this is of new strain, and rapidly all cases are increased, and now in India more than 30,000 cases are there, confirmed cases are there, and more than 1,000 deaths are there because of this coronavirus. What are the principle, now coming to the principle of infection for prevention and control strategy in India? Early recognition and control of source of infection, that is the main strategy to control this infection. We have to encourage healthcare worker have a high level clinical suspicious, they are the high level clinical suspicious, so we have to protect our healthcare worker first. We have to give the PPPs, that is personal protective measures, to all our healthcare workers. Screening questions we have to reform in an institute, so that means one in the institute protocol should be maintained and formed for the screening of the patient. Then awareness in public areas for sign and symptoms, we have to give awareness campaign, awareness of advertisement, telecast, we have to use mass media measures for awareness of COVID-19. Then we have to promote respiratory hygiene and hand hygiene also, because this is the basic thing that we can do and we can avoid the spread of infections. So that we have to do hand hygiene first, whatever frequent hand washing should be there, and respiratory hygiene means that coughing and sneezing etiquettes we have to follow. That strategy we have to develop. And suspected cases should be placed in an area separate from the other patient. That should be done in a first or foremost form, that whatever suspected cases were, those are traveler, those are having sign and symptoms, those are suspected cases or confirmed cases, cases that should be separate immediately from the common people. This is the basic principle or strategy for spread of infection. Then application of standard of precaution for all patients. Now how we will apply, or how we will give precaution measures for the all patients. It include respiratory and hand hygiene, that is frequent hand washing and coughing and sneezing etiquettes. We have to use medical mask to all suspected patient. Now it is it is mandatory to use all person the mask. Also I am also using that mask, but for the talking I just remove that. We have to use mask for the all the suspected patient. We have to cover nose and mouth during coughing and with tissue and reflex elbow. Means it is a coughing and sneezing etiquette. We have to follow that. Perform hand hygiene with contact with respiratory secretion. Means if we are coming in contact with some secretions of other patient or cases, we have to immediately do hand washing or hand hygiene. Personal protective measures are keeping a main role in that. We have to be very sure about that. We have to wear all our gears, and after that we can do all the procedures for the patients. We have to prevent ourselves or patient for the needle stick injury, from the needle stick injury. Waste disposal, biomedical waste disposal should be proper. Whatever mask we are using, if we are throwing it in the normal place or roadside or in normal dustbin, it is very hazardous to other patients. So we have to teach patient that whatever gas, whatever mask you are using, that we have to throw in proper dustbin, or biomedical management should be proper. Environmental cleaning and sterilization of patient care equipment and linen should be there. All the sterilization procedure should be followed by the hospital and staff. Thorough cleaning with the water and detergent, whatever patient equipments, whatever patient linen, whatever patient gas are there, that should be washed, clean or sterilized and autoclaved properly. And applying hospital level disinfection like sodium hypochlorite, it is an effective and sufficient procedure. Means we are using sodium hypochlorite for the disinfecting floor of the hospitals and other area also, that is sufficient for disinfection, but on the regular basis we have to do that. How we can reduce the corona infection? All this message from WHO is repeatedly they are showing on the television, also on mass media, on radio, everywhere on internet. So we have to follow that to reduce the corona infection for the patient, for normal human beings also. We have to clean our hand with soap and water or alcohol based hand rub. We have to cover our nose and mouth during coughing and sneezing with tissue or reflex elbow. We have to avoid contact to face, repeated touching, avoid repeated touching to the face. We have to avoid close contact with the patient who are showing flu-like symptoms or common cold or flu-like symptoms. And thoroughly cook meat or eggs. If you are eating non-vegetarian food, you have to be very sure that it is properly cooked, then only you can consume that. And unprotected contact with live wild animal or farm animal, we have to be avoid. That is the very basic method we can avoid the infection, or we can reduce the risk of infection. Now, implementation of empiric additional procedure for the coronavirus infection means all individual, including family members, visitors, healthcare workers, should apply contact and droplet precautions. Means sneezing, coughing etiquettes we have to be follow, that is must. Place of patient is adequately ventilated in a single room. It is not like that ki all the patient we are dumping in a one room and there is no proper ventilation. There should be proper ventilation, proper light in that room. The distance between two patients should be maintained, that where doctor, nurse are giving services to infected people, there should be limited movement of that. All this additional precaution we have to take if you are working in a hospital or any infected serving duties to the infected people. When single, this is not possible in India, but we can try that. This is the guideline, we have to follow that if possible. Then when a place patient is adequately ventilated in a single room, ideally one patient should give one room, but that is not possible. Then when single room aren't available, then cohort of patient means same infection having. Cohort means same quality of patient or same number, same quality having in a people, means same type of infection. That suspected patient should be kept together, means coronavirus patient should be kept together. And all the beds should be kept apart at least 1 meter from each other. It's not कि एक bed पे दो patient we are keeping that, or one bed one patient, and they should be separate 1 meter apart. They should use mask, or there should be proper facial protection. Clean non-sterile long sleeve fluid resistant gloves and gowns and gloves should be used by medical worker, and patient and whatever healthcare worker is there, they should use mask. They should use single use disposable equipment or dedicated equipment like stethoscope or BP apparatus for the patient. It's not like one of a stethoscope we are using for coronavirus people also, and for other non-infective people also. There should be separate dedicated equipment for all the patients. If needed, it can be shared among the patient after cleaning or disinfecting. Avoid the movement of patient out of the room. The whatever toilet and bathroom facility that should be in the room, it is better. So that limitation of movement of the patient in the room. Limit the number of healthcare worker and family member in the contact with suspect. We have to be very sure about that. Limited number of people are going to see one patient. If so many relatives are visiting that patient, they can easily infect. And maintain record of all person entering in the room, including staff, family members, relatives, and other people. So all these are the etiquettes we should follow. And now coming to the clinical management. Clinical management part is not it's not very specific. It's on sign and symptom basis. It is classified in uncomplicated illness, mild pneumonia, severe pneumonia, acute respiratory distress syndrome, then sepsis and septic shock. We will see it one by one. Uncomplicated illness, it include urinary upper respiratory tract infection. They showed non-specific symptom like fever, cough, sore throat, nasal congestion, headache, and malaise. In mild pneumonia or flu-like symptom, patient with pneumonia and no sign of severe pneumonia. In severe pneumonia, fever or suspected respiratory infection plus having respiratory rate more than 30 per minute, with severe distress and their oxygen capacity is less than 90% in a room air. And acute respiratory distress syndrome, it is like a new or worsening respiratory symptom with one or more known clinical patients, and chest imaging showing bilateral opacity, sometime respiratory failure is also there, or there is chances of cardiac failure also, or fluid overload also. That is. In sepsis, it is a life-threatening organ dysfunction caused by dysregulation of suspected or a proven infection patient. Sign and symptoms are mostly fast breathing or difficulty breathing, low oxygen saturation, reduced urine output, weak pulse, cold extremities, and hypotension. And lab diagnosis: thrombocytopenia, cytosis, and hyperbilirubinemia is there. That is the all sign and symptoms of sepsis. In sepsis, shock, hypotension is there, and to maintain that we have to give vasopressin, and serum lactate is less than 2 millimole per liter. That is sign and symptoms for septic shock. This is just definitions for clinical management, how we classify the patient and how we will treat that patient. Immediate implementation of appropriate infection control measure, that is in triage, mean whatever in area so many patients are there, we have to give mask to them, and we have to immediately separate them from the common person or that area. Then whatever we have to give droplet and contact precaution, that is whatever airborne whatever area is there, we have to clean that area, and we have to give personal protective measures to all the healthcare workers, and give mask to the patient. early supportive therapy and monitoring, in that it is all symptom based, that is supplement of oxygen therapy we have to give fluid therapy to the patient, or especially no evidence of shock patient, we have to give fluid therapy. Then we have to give antimicrobial treatment to all the patient. There is no specific guideline for the treatment what antibiotic we should use, but this is all symptomatic treatment. We do not routinely use symptomatic corticosteroid because it suppresses the immunity of the patient, so corticosteroids we shouldn't use. Then close monitoring of patient for the all severe pneumonia, sepsis, renal failure, cardiac failure patient, so that this virus is very dangerous or virulent in geriatric patient, and having more morbidities like diabetes, hypertension, renal failure kind of patient. There are more chances of suffering from this infection, those having low immunity in their body. And understanding of the patient comorbid condition and determine which chronic therapy to be continue. Whatever their therapy is there, we have to continue that. Along with that, symptomatic treatment we have to give to the patient. How we will collect the sample for laboratory? Now, sample collection, we have to be very careful about that, because we have to use it is very infective material and it can easily spread the disease, so we have to do it sample collection with all the measures. We can take sample from throat, from upper and lower respiratory tract both. From lower respiratory tract specimen is having higher virulent, higher load of virus, but it is not preferable in general for the patient. So upper respiratory tract and respiratory specimen is more useful. In that, throat swab we are taking, nasolaryngeal swab we are taking, and nasopharyngeal swab, oropharyngeal swab we are collecting for the sample collection from the suspected and confirmed cases. Now, all diseases are the management of hypoxemia, respiratory patient or failure patient. This is all the symptomatic treatment for multi-organ or mental state. We have to give symptomatic treatment basically for everything, and when we have to provide, if severe distress is there, sepsis is there, or patient is not able to breathe on its own, then we have to give it on a ventilator with all the antimicrobial therapy, fluid supplementation, and other treatment. This is or the prevention for the complications. We can go, you can go all through this, but this is on the higher level. On the basic, we all discuss for that. Now, this is not possible nowadays. This is the if a few months back, if you are a couple of months back, if you are a traveler from international or national, you are going for travel, then you should avoid all these things, or use frequent hand washing, and coughing and sneezing etiquette you have to be follow, and restricted movement is the best possible to obstruct the infection. So we have to follow social and physical distancing. Thank you for this patient listening for this COVID-19 session. All this procedure you have to follow, because this is the very severe situation we are facing all over the world, and also in India. So many patients are there, so many new cases are there, and thousands of cases are coming regularly on the daily basis. So hand hygiene you have to maintain, and social distancing is very important thing. So we are requesting you to maintain that. don't go outside if it's not required. Frequent hand washing should be done. If so many members in the family, then keep them in a separate room, give separate room if possible to one person. Then avoid contact with the infected people. If busy yourself in a daily routine, household work, and whatever your studies are there. Do regular yoga and exercises to boost up your immunity. Take vitamin C on the regular basis because it is playing very important role to for our immunities, to develop our immunity. And pray for all those who are suffering from this disease. And just raise hand or give your regards to all those who are fighting, or who are doing their duty on this very serious situation, and who are serving. So that's all for now on the COVID-19. We will discuss some another topic on next lecture. And be safe, stay at home, and keep reading. And along with your hand hygiene, personal hygiene, and environmental hygiene, please maintain your mental hygiene, de-stress yourself, and uh, maintain safe distance with all. Okay, thank you.